Hello Man Cavers, my name's Neil, welcome back to the Magical Man Cave. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to turn wood into gold. Now this isn't going to be some weird alchemy where we pick up something like a mini pumpkin and blast it with a magic wand and turn it into something else. Like that. No, I'm going to show you how to gild stuff or how to gold plate it. And it's not just going to be painting on glue and then slapping stuff on. It's a little bit more complicated than that. And the results, I think, are so much better. Unless, of course, you want to train for literally years and hone your craft over decades and all of that sort of stuff. We're not going to bother with that. We're going to try and do it the easy, simple, quick, effective, awesome, gorgeous way. So eventually you're going to be able to make things like this. This is a quote from Albus Dumbledore, and it says, "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times when one only remembers to turn on the light." Now for me, when I was building the Magical Man Cave, I was going through a pretty rough time at work, and it was a very stressful time. And that quote kind of reminds me just to be happy. It should be fine. Everything is going to be all right in the end. This too shall pass, which is something I kind of cringe at every time I hear. But, you know, it is true. Everything is relative. So, in this video, I wanted to show you how to do that. And also, it's going to touch on some of the wood effect stuff that I've done before. I've linked a video up here, by the way, if you want to find out how to turn foam into wood. And then you can start to do this sort of stuff by putting the gold onto the wood. So, let's do that. Now, the very first thing I did when I started out with this technique was to find a book and to gold plate the book. This, I think, is Elvish for just a book. So if the translation's wrong, I don't know, blame Google. But this is what I think it says. And it kind of looks pretty good, I think. For those of you who don't know what it means, it looks magical, I think. So what I've decided to do is to kind of show you how I did this. Now, the detail on this, although it's weird shapes and stuff and it's kind of hard to decipher, it should be fairly clear that this is at least well done. So in order to get this and get it quite crisp, hopefully you can see that on camera, you could just use a paintbrush and you could just paint this on, and then using gilding glue, it sort of dries tacky, and then you slap on some gold leaf on top. That's not what I did, because I'm a cheat and I don't want to wait too long, and I'm also not that great with a paintbrush. I'm okay with a paintbrush, but I'm not as precise as this. This is really crisp, and a single mistake, it will look awful, which is why these people train for years. So instead, what I did was go over to my computer and cut it out on a proper machine. Now, you've probably heard of double-sided sticky tape, but you may not be aware that you can also get it in sheets that can go through a printer or a Cricut cutting machine or something like that. I buy mine in A4 sheets, and I know I also use it for mixing paint as well, just ignore that. But other than that, it kind of comes in a flat sheet, and this is sort of post-cutting, but you know, it comes about that size. Now, the way that this works, and I'll see if I can get this on camera, is that being double-sided, it's sticky on both sides. And so if I pull off one side like this, then hopefully you can see, if I get the light just right, there we go, that it's kind of glossy. And the reason is that it's sticky. So if I stick my hand to it like this, I may just be able to pull off the other side. Okay, so on one side it is really sticky, and on the other side it's also really sticky. So ultimately what we want is just this middle bit. And so we need to work out a way of cutting this stuff. So this is double-sided sticky tape. So hopefully you can see that, but this, it's kind of disgusting on its own, but in order to get this, it comes as a sheet. You need to cut it in a particular way so that you can then keep all three layers. So the top layer, the sticky, gunky, horrible stuff, and the bottom layer, you need to keep them all together but all cut in the right way. And then that way then, this shape, I mean, not this shape in particular, but the shape in the middle will be the right size, the right shape, right dimensions, and it will look really crisp and clean, unlike this soggy, sticky mess. This is my Cricut cutting machine, and I know it's pink, don't judge me, it was cheaper. All you do is to put down the material onto either a sheet, or in the newer machines actually you don't even need a sheet, and it just loads in here. And once you've loaded all of the files and designed it and everything, you press this button to load it in, and you press that button to make it all go. So once you cut all of your shapes out of your sheet, you then go back down to the man cave and grab a pin tool. Now this sheet is rather dusty, but this is basically what comes off my computer. So these things are all cut out, and as you can probably tell, I've already pulled them all off and stuck them onto the wall. But I am going to show you if I can find a star that hasn't already been plucked. I'm going to show you how I went ahead and did that. This may look like an ordinary pen, but do not be fooled by its commonplace appearance. Instead of a nib, it has a pin. Now I don't know whether you can capture that on camera, but that is really, really fine. That's a really fine pin nib. And that's used for picking off the backing paper of the sticker. So this stuff, all I need to do is I need to grab one edge of a star sticker, like this, and pull. And then I get a nice little star. Then I come over here, excuse the mess, up on here, and then I'll put the star, let's say I'm going to put it about here. I literally just push it off like that, and then it's stuck, and it looks lovely. But of course that's white. So because it's double-sided sticky tape, one of these sides is actually just non-stick paper. So if I pull this off, try and do this one-handed, probably not very wise. If I try and pull that off just like that, then hopefully you can see it almost looks like sellotape, or what they call it, sticky tape of some sort. For the Americans who don't know what sellotape is, sellotape is just a brand of sticky tape. And then you just grab a piece of gold leaf, you can just rip that off and just slap it on. And that's literally all you do. It's really not difficult. And then once that's done, you get a stiff brush like this, and you just brush it away. And hopefully it'll grab all of those details. And because I did that left-handed, it's not perfect, but it's not too bad. And now all I need to do is do that about 1,000,000 times, and eventually it'll start looking like this. So that's it for another day. Thanks very much for watching. Please click that like button, subscribe, ding that bell, and I'll see you again tomorrow with some more magical awesomeness. But until next time, as always,
stay magical.